Irish Nation. Guess what? Coach Freeman ain't going nowhere. At least not till 2027. At least. This big story and a couple of others here on this edition of Talk Like a Champion. Welcome back, Irish Nation. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this edition of Talk Like a Champion. Of course, you're talking with the one and only Mr. CeeLo. And guys, I hope you've had a wonderful Merry Christmas and you guys are safe, and especially my friends way up in Indiana, South Bend, and Michigan and whatnot, because it's cold here, so I already know what the deal is up yonder. But guys, let us get into some business right now, because needless to say, there was some scary moments arriving here as we had the possible fear of Marcus Freeman leaving. There was talks that the Tennessee Titans were doing their due diligence on Coach Freeman, and that there were so many others that were attempting to pull Marcus Freeman away from the Irish, and there were a lot of talk about his extension that he signed last season. So, yeah, look, I'm not concerned with that. My whole talk is making sure Marcus Freeman's comfortable as possible, because Irish Nation, let's be real with ourselves. We haven't had a guy like Marcus Freeman to take this program to where he's taken it in forever. I mean, it looked like Charlie Weiss was going to do that, you know, when he was here with the type of recruits he was getting. Tyrone Willingham looked like he had it on track for a little while, and even Kelly at times looked like he had it going in the right direction, but it was basically a roller coaster ride that, you know, we ended up seeing was only as good as, you know, what he felt like he could deliver. Me personally, I thought it was a situation where he bit off more than he could chew at times and made a lot of promises he just couldn't deliver on. And that becomes a really difficult pill to swallow when, you know, you're trying to deliver what they, you know, what this program requires. You know, you took the challenge and you were unable to get those type of recruits that you're seeing Marcus Freeman be able to just snag. And we've seen, I think now with that 2026 class about to come in, arguably one of the best classes. I've heard many people say one of the best classes that we've seen in the, I guess you could say, social media era. And it's only going to get better. And needless to say, I think this is why it's so important to keep Marcus Freeman happy. And like I said, you know, hopefully he doesn't remember all those mean things a lot of y'all said about him. You know, needless to say, this is a guy who has feelings, and there were a lot of individuals out there in South Bend, from coast to coast, north and south of the Mason-Dixon line, that were ready to run Marcus Freeman out of here, even Weinbaum. So, yeah, when you sit and you start and think about the people who already had Marcus Freeman terminated before he was even through his first season, It's pretty pathetic, And I'm just going to, say what it is. I was ready for Marcus Freeman to continue to move forward because he's a guy that is very easy to like. I mean, just absolutely easy as I don't know what to like. I mean, he's a fun-loving guy, and he relates to the kids. Reminds me a lot of when I was coaching the youngsters, and he's very, very, relatable. And that's what's got to happen when you're dealing with college kids. You got to be very relatable because these kids look up to you as not only someone that can help them, but you've got to maneuver this this terrain which is college football, and it's not something that's easy. And Marcus Freeman has that, and we are very fortunate to have the effing man of college football. And on that note, let us hear a word from our sponsors. Fellas, listen up. We all know that there are 3 women in your life you absolutely cannot afford to disappoint. Number 1, your mom. She brought you into this world, and she can still take you out. God bless mine. Number 2, your wife. She holds the keys to peace, happiness, and your Netflix password. Or in your case, your YouTube password so you can check us out. And number 3, your girlfriend, which we're not going to talk about too loud because your wife listened to this podcast too. Lucky for you, there's one gift that'll keep all 3 of them happy without you having to remember their favorite candle, scent, or what size yoga pants they wear. What? It's the Luma Vita 7-piece rejuvenation kit. The ultimate don't sleep on the couch skincare gift set. 7 premium pieces of luxury skincare for only $95. That's right, $95. Less than what you spent pretending or thinking that your team was going to cover that spread. This kit is packed with all types of fancy stuff, such as a biohack rejuvenation balm with words you can't pronounce, but she'll brag to her friends about it. An under eye serum for those I was watching the game bags. A skin tightening mask so magical it could patch the holes in that leaky defense. A tallow-based cleansing balm that melts makeup faster than your quarterback under pressure. A rose hydrosol toner that smells like peace and low stress. A jade gua sha roller, which is basically a tiny stone massage tool that women go feral for. And a gold accented travel bag so nice you'll wish you could use it. So fellas, do the smart thing for the holidays or special occasions. Order 3 of these bad boys, or in some cases, just 2. One for mom because she deserves it, one for your wife because she demands it, and for you guys that have a girlfriend, get one for her too because she thinks she deserves it. Luma Vita. Make them glow, make them happy, and keep yourself out of trouble. Go ahead, fellas. Make that move. Grab that 7-piece rejuvenation kit at lumavita.com before the couch becomes your new home field. Yes, sir, gentlemen. Yes, sir. It's that time, and you got to make sure you stay in good with mom. You got to stay in good with the wife, and if you don't have a wife, your girlfriend. Some guys have wives and girlfriends, I'm not one of those guys. Yeah, guys, this is going to be exciting, with his text saying, or his post saying what it said. I'm sure many of you have heard it by now. Let's run it back. Unfortunately, it won't be a run it back for Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love and Ashton Craig, a couple of those guys. But hey, listen, as much as I hate that they're not coming back, look, we'll get it figured out. Especially Malachi Fields, you guys. That's another guy that, I'm going to be honest with you, if this guy was coming back, it would have been easy peasy. Um, Unfortunately, I'm not hearing enough people discussing Nick Marsh. Guys, I don't think y'all realize as good as CJ Carr may appear based on what we've seen. Jaden Greathouse is a good player. But we're going to have to get guys to go with Jordan Faison and company. I mean, what people don't realize is we got to realize that Eli Raven was a huge part of this offense too. We really did not utilize our guys efficiently enough. And yeah, there's a lot of people that see just like I see it. But let's go down the comments, you guys. Once again, my man Brad, as always, has got to give me his 2 cents worth. And guys, remember, be nice to Brad. Brad's good folks. He's my buddy. He can be he's just not a Notre Dame fan. Y'all just gotta bear with him. He's my buddy though. Merry Christmas, bro. I appreciate you too, brother. Merry Christmas to you too. I got the show coming out. I know you. For guys you don't know, I do a college all access gridiron gab triple option where I'm talking about the college football playoff and I'm talking about Georgia. So he's interested to see what my critique on that does. Carson Beck is a joke. He's like a Jekyll and Hyde. Don't know which one's going to show up. I watch him a lot being the effing man. I'll give you that one. Hell yeah, on the pump and go. Absolutely, bro. You know I got you. Cam Newton. Yeah, exactly. I've seen weirdos dress better than you. Talking about Cam Newton, absolutely. Indy still rocks, but I tip my dog hat to you, y'all. Go Dogs. Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. To be the man, you got to beat the man. Yep, Ric Flair. Post game, I would love for Notre Dame to also grab a defensive tackle. Post game, I hope you watched the show. I would love to get up with you and do a show because later on he says, "Get at me, let's work." I love it. Yeah. Would love to do a collab with you post game. Jonah said Miami when Notre Dame came to Miami. Ja ha ha. You won by 3 points and you still in your building. Remember that. Came to Miami. You beat A&M by 3 points, by a touchdown. Whoop-de-doo. That's why you didn't want no part of us, because you knew it was finna get ugly. Indy got the shaft. However, for all the Notre Dame and nothing for everyone else is biting them in the butt. The day will come when Indy will have to either get in a conference or they will have to up their schedule by not scheduling 2 good teams and 10 average teams. The conferences will not stand for it much longer. This is a long one, Ricky. First of all, let me say this. You're saying, well, by not scheduling 2 good teams and 10 average teams. Here's the thing. The SEC don't even have 10 average teams. Majority of them have at least one horrible cupcake on it. That's not even an FBS school. So while we sit here and we run our mouths, the SEC is putting up a facade. There's only 2 teams in the entire conference that had a gauntlet. So when I hear this whole gauntlet garbage, Florida, and I would even venture to say Oklahoma. And Oklahoma shouldn't have got in the college football playoff, but because they knocked out an overrated Alabama, an overinflated Alabama team, that's why they got in. So please don't tell me about these gauntlets that are in these conferences, because that's trash. I have debunked this theory several times. Let's stop going down this road. The conferences will not stand for much longer. Renegotiating is coming of CFP, and Indy is getting a place guaranteed that takes the place of a conference team. What cost the Irish the first 2 games was they were playing good teams they couldn't beat. No, that's not what happened, sir. Because here's the reality. They played 2 good teams early on. Now, are you going to sit here, Ricky, and tell me? Well, first of all, you probably can't tell me because you haven't watched. Okay? You're going to sit here and tell me that Miami's better than Notre Dame now? Or Texas A&M's better than Notre Dame now? The answer to that question is no. And I know what you're going to say. Oh, well, they ain't beat nobody. Well, let's back up. How efficient, how many guys were starting on that Notre Dame defense that were not starting later on? Answer to that question is 3. Now, How many guys on that offense were even playmakers at that time? We didn't even know what we had in Malachi Fields then. Absolutely. I can break this down. Miami's got C.J. Daniels had one game and he made the catch of his life. Where's he been the rest of the season? You got him talking about C.J. Daniels going to have to have a big game against Ohio State. He will be a no-show once again. He will. You can call it what you want. I don't care. But I watch the games in totality from each team. Very disappointed in Texas A&M. I tell you, I'm very disappointed in fans in College Station. They did not stay loud enough for Miami. There's no reason why Miami shouldn't have had a ton of false start penalties in that game. Miami overcame them, though. We'll give them credit. No, that's not what cost the Irish the first two games they were playing the teams they couldn't beat. The fact that you acted like a baby and opt out of bowl games, that's what happened under that happened under Holtz. I was a big ND fan back then, and when they robbed the Catholic fans in Louisiana of the experience of seeing ND play in the Independence Bowl. ACC took care of their own. Miami beat y'all. Join the ACC and you would have been taken care of. First of all, Ricky, if you were an ND fan, you would understand what the Independence represents. So miss me with that whole I was an ND fan. If you understand what the Notre Dame brand represents in its independence, you wouldn't make a statement like join the ACC. See, I find it funny the very people that are complaining about Notre Dame's independence are the ones that are jealous that they don't have Notre Dame's independence. Those are the ones who complain about it. And initially, the ACC should be kissing the Notre Dame's boots because realistically, and you can look this up, the ACC's attendance is 30% higher in the games that Notre Dame comes. Or that Notre Dame comes to town. Look it up. They don't put asses in the seats when it's not Notre Dame. Because the ACC and its fans understand. I listened to a live broadcast of the Boston College game an hour and a half before it started. Fans were outside Chestnut Hill at 9 o'clock. And what time was the game, people? That's right, that afternoon. When Notre Dame shows up to town, look, you might have a great following in Catholic following in Louisiana. That's great. But here's the reality. These players, nor does Notre Dame owe anybody anything. They've developed their brand on their own accord, not off of you, me, or anybody else. That brand has been a brand for over 150 years. Nobody can tell us how that brand is suited or who and what they should do. That's why you got the wine bums and run around here bitching and complaining about them joining a conference because they want that moolah. Well, let me ask you this, sir. I don't know what you do for a living, but let's say you were independent and you had a big corporation coming in there telling you you can't sell in a certain market because you ain't a part of their, I don't know, let's say their brand. You can't be a part of their market unless you're under their roof. You know, kind of like what's happened with Dr. Pepper and Coca-Cola. Yeah. I mean, so while we're sitting here saying this, let's look at it from this standpoint. Notre Dame is a little fish in a big ocean, but they just so happen to be one of the biggest pulling fishes out there, or drawing fishes, if you will. You got to learn to understand. You got to learn to understand that it is about money, but then no matter what anybody wants to say, Notre Dame is still one of the biggest drawing brands in all of college sports. You can even throw in pro sports too. You don't have to like us, but one thing about it is people sit there and say we're cocky and we're arrogant. No, we're not. We're probably the most realistic group of fans that you're going to find. But we also have high expectations. And we know what we had this year. And from what I'm seeing in the field, wasn't nothing going to touch us. You can sit there and clown us and say, well, you lost the first 2 games. Guess what? You won the first 2 games. Are you going to win the Natty? You about like A&M. No disrespect, A&M fans. They lost their last 2. But they won their first 2. So you still going to think they're better than us? That was how many weeks ago? Better yet, how many months ago? Georgia proved that point, and they're going to prove it again against Ole Miss. So y'all can miss me with this whole, they beat me way back in yonder. Thank you, Brad, for helping me prove my point. Fighting Irish Vikings, thank you for the real deal Notre Dame commentary. Thank you for paying attention and listening. I appreciate it. I love to get great feedback like that. I like to get constructive criticism too, but please make sure it makes sense. I've answered all of these in my previous shows, and if you're going to criticize, make sure y'all haven't already mentioned this. Russell said, LOL, been a long time since you've been a champion. To hell with ND. You will be out next year as well as the group of 5 schedule you have. Pathetic. Russell, who is your colors? I think it's funny you bring your yellow belly stuff in here and spout off something. See, normally I wouldn't say anything, but you're in my comments, so needless to say, I want to address them. But what's your color? Oh, I forgot, yellow. And I'm not talking about that Oregon Duck yellow either. Name me a football team, and I'll name you a soft schedule. Because outside of Florida, maybe South Carolina, and maybe Oklahoma, there wasn't no tough schedules tougher than Notre Dame. Stop it. We had the toughest 2-game stretch in all of college football. Can you think of another? Don't think so. If Indy had been in the conference and won it, they would have gotten the playoff. And more likely, they would have gotten a second-place finish similar to Bama. The ACC would be a better conference with Indy in it, maybe even the Big 12. T. Stevens, here's the thing. The same thing I answered a minute ago. Why do we need to affiliate ourselves with a conference? Okay? The best teams are the best teams. I will refer back to that point that I made on one of my shows previously. Miami is the problem here. If they hadn't the bed and won the ACC, they would not have needed an at-large bid. So while so many people like yourself are coming in here saying being in a conference, no, this is all on, not the ACC, but Miami. If they just win the damn conference instead of going out there getting their butts whooped, yeah, I said it, Miami fans. Nah, y'all didn't get your butt. But losing to two lost teams, well, excuse me, 2 4-loss teams, I'm sorry. And y'all got the nerve to question us? This team lost to 2 4-loss teams. Exactly. So your point is debunked. And then you want to say, oh, being in a conference, how many teams were in a conference and didn't win it? Being in a conference shouldn't give you an automatic bid. Sorry, not sorry. But guys, getting into what we're seeing about Marcus Freeman, I'm exceptionally pleased that he stayed, but then he said 2026, which means I'm thinking that maybe he's seriously considering that jump. I don't know. I hope not. I think Marcus Freeman is what I like to consider the new Lou Holtz of this program, the new face. And I've heard many people say he's very likable, and I can't disagree. I can't agree with that more. He is a very likable person, and as I said many times over, Marcus Freeman is just so much fun to watch his players. You could tell his players embody what he is and how he is, and yeah, I mean, needless to say, I hope he sticks around here for a really long time and is really not only dedicated to winning a national championship, but is dedicated to whatever Bubaka wants to do because it looked like he's really sold out on keeping him here. I just hope you see the guys in the transfer portals wanting to do what they do, and he always says he encourages them to go explore the new horizons and whatnot. But I'm hoping that Coach Freeman understands that it's tough to get pro football players to really buy in to the ideas of that what you have when they're getting paid the big dollars. And then, of course, you don't have nearly the flexibility of coaching these guys the way you coach college players. There's a lot of things that go into these collegiate players, these great athletes that, they want to be there. And not always the case when you're dealing with men that are getting paid millions of dollars and, they've got their own agendas and so on and so forth. They're not necessarily going to be in it for your contract. They're not going to be in it for what you got going on, because unfortunately the business part of it gets in the way, and a lot of times it has no feelings. There are no emotions involved. There's no emotions tied to it, and needless to say, when it gets to that point where players are going to look out for themselves, sometimes it can leave you in a situation where you're left holding an empty bag, so to speak. But last thing I want to look into, next to the last thing, is I want to talk about the guys that we are trying to get. Now, I'm not hearing much. Now, many of you guys have seen my other show that I've recently put out before about the guys we're chasing in the transfer portal, such as Nick Marsh. I have not heard a lot. I'm hoping that Marcus Freeman is doing this thing behind the scenes, because I can be honest with you, if the LSU Tigers or the Indiana Hoosiers or Ohio State Buckeyes get their hands on this gem, there's going to be problems. Look, I've heard people talk about Coleman. Look, he's a good kid, but he ain't Nick Marsh. Don't get fooled, you guys. Nick Marsh is the gem of this class. I don't care what anybody says. They can sit there and they can throw whatever it is they want to throw in your lap. But the reality of it is, if we do not get this guy, I don't think we can win a national championship. No matter how good C.J. Carr is, we need that big body presence there. That's how good Nick Marsh is, y'all. Nick Marsh is that dude, and we need to get his presence. We need to have him here. I said there are a couple of guys that we are going to lose, and it's really hurtful to see them go. And of course, like I said, Kenny Minchie was a tough one to see go, but he's going to play somewhere. I'm hearing ties to Arizona State. I don't understand why Tennessee hasn't given this guy a shot. I'm not trying to throw it, but I'm going to tell you something. If Tennessee don't give this dude a bag, they crazy. Because he fits perfectly what Josh Heupel wants to do. He's mobile. He's very, very athletic and agile. He's learning how to. He looks like he's become more comfortable throwing the deep ball, and it's like, dang. Probably the one thing that the competition did was get Kenny Minchie to understand, yes, checkdowns are good, but he also got to see there's nothing wrong with stretching the field and taking shots down the field. Matter of fact, that is the way you're able to run the football. Had Kenny Minchie, in my opinion, been able to do this more, I believe he wins that job from C.J. Carr. C.J. Carr's willingness to push it down the field and do it at a pretty good step. I mean, he wasn't perfect. I think a lot of it, a lot of his mistakes got covered up by great receiver play. But I still think he's good. As I said, we lost Carson Hobbs, who had some playing time this year. Jabron Payne, and Jadon Blair, a guy who, in my opinion, is just absolutely a dude that you wanted to see what it was going to happen. Tabron Benny Powell, a redshirt freshman safety. I mean, we've got freaks coming in this 26 class, guys. And then the 25 class is already pretty doggone stout as far as playmakers go. So it's pretty amazing to watch these guys going into Portland. It's going to be pretty cool to see where they turn up. Not great on our end, but then of course there's Tyler Buckner, Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price, Malachi Fields, Will Pauling, Eli Reardon, Emil Wagner, Billy Shrouth, Jordan Batella, Junior Tuihalamaka, Jason Onye, Gabriel Rubio, Jared Dawson, Devontae Smith, Jalen Stroman, Noah Burnett, and James Rundell will all be out of eligibility and off this team. That's a lot of great players. Experience not going to be on this team anymore, you guys. And needless to say, like I told you, we've got to be able to get in here and grab some serious talent. You're looking at some guys that are in the transfer portal. Not a lot of great players in the portal. But tackle, this is what everybody's expecting us to look at. Mateen Iragba from Wake Forest. 6'4", 296-pound interior rusher. A guy who initially started at the edge. If he can pan out like, we saw a couple of guys, like Riley Mills over at Seattle, this would be huge. But yeah, we're going to have to make some huge spots to fill out this defensive front because, needless to say, the running game is still bothering us on the defensive side. We've got the inside. I mean, we've got the back seven very set up. You just don't want to keep using extra guys in the box to stop the run. That's where you kind of get, put down in a lot of situations. You definitely don't want to be able to. You definitely don't want to have to. Want to put extra guys in the box to be able to slow down the run. That's definitely something you don't want it to fool with. But that loss of Donovan Heinisch with that shoulder was absolutely huge. We wish him all the best, despite the fact that it's right now it looks like he's going to be retiring from the team and whatnot. But as I said, we're probably going to be looking at the portal as far as defensive tackles go. My biggest hope is that we can land Marsh. Nick Marsh is the crown jewel, and I'm not seeing anybody discussing this. I'm not seeing anybody throwing it up like this is a guy that we just have to land. So, but then, of course, there's a talk about James Madison's Wayne Knight declaring for the portal and that the Irish, have been named as a potential fit to replace Love. I mean, he's a good player. I think ultimately you got the Hollywood kid out of NC State who's in the portal. I'm look, as far as running back goes, I'm of the belief we got enough there. I know a lot of you are going to say, oh, well, the last thing we want to do with the Liz Williams signing his paper is that we end up, making some of these guys angry and having, because we got a lot of backs on the roster. But guys, I tell you, I'm grateful that Marcus Freeman is staying. We better enjoy him because I got a feeling he's going to be just like Jeremiah Love. I hope not. I hope he decides to stay long as his college career beckons him to stay. I just hope we continue to, uplift him. Continue to show appreciation and thank Marcus Freeman for at least guaranteeing us 2026. And guys, listen, we don't want this to be a situation where he gets us a class like 2026 and then leaves. We want him to stay. We need Marcus Freeman to stay. And a lot of people say, we don't need nothing. Oh, yes. When you look, part of the brand of a college program, especially like this one, is having the face. There's no Jeremiah Love anymore. Okay, right now it's C.J. Carr, who's probably going to be maximum 2 more years. We may get 2 more years. I would imagine if he's as good as we think he could be, he'll probably gone next year. Maybe he'll stay. Maybe he won't. But we got to appreciate our greats when they're here. Like, we didn't appreciate Jeremiah Love nearly as much. Jadarian Price is another one. Even Malachi Fields in the 1 year that we had him. Marcus Freeman and company didn't know what they had. And Brock had it all over to do again. He'd throw that ball. He'd have C.J. Carr throw that thing deep to him more in the Miami and Texas A&M games. You got to take advantage of your dudes. And right now we need to take advantage and appreciate Coach Marcus Freeman. Thank you, Coach. Let me know what you guys think. Guys, make sure you hit me up down in the comments. If you are a first-time commenter, let me know your name, where you're from. If you are a first-time viewer, make sure you hit me down below and tell me who your team is. If you are a first-time subscriber, make sure you hit me down below and tell me what you love about the content. If you like the show, give me a thumbs up and make sure that you can come back and hit that bell notification so that you can get all of my content as it is released. Make sure you go over to my Facebook, Talk Like a Champion, and make sure you add us as a friend as well as join the group so you can catch up with all the updates and things that I will be doing on the show during the off season. As well as go over to my Instagram so you can keep up with me, Mr. CeeLo, and check out all the things I will be into during the off season. But until we meet again, may the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun rise warm upon your face. May the rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand.